Everybody knows what Trace Leches is.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, everybody. Welcome back for another hump day. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop, Trace Leches, motherfuckers.
Yeah, y'all should have seen him or heard him about 2 minutes ago. It wasn't whoop, whoop. It was, where's my spoon?
I found plastic fork.
Well, that's not a spoon, is it?
No, but I'm eating Trace Leches like a motherfucker.
All right, guys. Hopefully the stream's coming through okay. We did have one little hiccup reminiscent of old times, but it seems to have corrected itself. Thanks to my lovely phone and its hotspot. Echo, all right.
Probably for me, I don't know. Okay. Hump day.
Hump day.
No, wait. We need to preface this. Adam uses like 14,000 degrees per second on all his rigs. Okay, continue. Agreed.
Not me.
I haven't known normalcy in 20 years. Please. See this? Do you see this? You see this right here? Yes. Buy the hot dogs. Buy the hot dog straps. Okay. And then you go over here. You go over to Facebooks and you look for us. Sorry. Well, I'll get some coffee in me, I swear.
All he needs to do is start offering wiener rings, and I'll be totally on board with that too. We call it a wiener collar. There you go. Hot dog collar. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting because we've got one guy, NB95 TSI, also known as Chris Justice. Chris does not know how to stick to anything. Well, I'm trying to get rid of the echo, guys. I don't know where the echo was coming from, but I had a feeling it was coming from me because that would be my luck. Is that any better? Now they're going to say, there's echo! Someday I'll get this right. OBS is hard.
Echo.
All right.
Echo.
So anyway, all I was saying, we were talking about the different flight controller offerings, okay? You got... Okay, you got Flight 1, you got KISS, you've got Beta Flight, you've got the other offerings too, but they're really not worth talking about. Nobody gives a shit about Clean Flight or Libre Pilot or any of that crap. Now chuck's upside down. And, you know, Adam went from Betaflight because he was having zero luck with it and it always flew like a turd for him, to Kiss, and Kiss was flying a lot better for him, but he never truly fell in love with it. This guy spent 5 minutes with Flight 1, and it's all he can talk about. But admittedly, Nays 32, you get out. No more. Get out.
We can't be friends anymore.
Right.
I don't know if that.
But yeah, it was just very interesting. And of all of us, you know, I'm a Betaflight guy. Like, I have zero interest in trying any of the other stuff. Chuck is a Kiss guy. I think if Kiss was a little bit more compatible across the board, Chuck wouldn't be interested in flying anything but Kiss. But Chris Justice does not know how to sit still for 5 hot damn minutes and has been trying everything he can get his hands on. And he's had some interesting things to say. You know, the other night we were talking, and he started talking about how, well, you know, I can make Betaflight fly just as good as Kiss, and Kiss fly just as good as Flight 1, and all that other stuff. And then he made the mistake. He slipped up and he said, because, you know, I got that Betaflight rig tuned. You can't compare a tuned flight controller to an untuned flight controller. That's not how it works. So I asked him out of the box, Kiss versus Betaflight versus Flight 1. And look, without a doubt, he said Flight 1 flies the best with no tweaking. And I thought that was really interesting.
I thought technically that it was tuned, because doesn't it ask you some questions during the setup?
It does, but it doesn't require you to go in and manually adjust anything.
Yeah, it does it. So basically, its stock is tuned.
It does it the best of any of them. Yeah, to be fair, you're totally on point, Chuck. It does do some motor tests, and I think it does some slight like it spins up each motor individually to look for excessive noise and things, so it can adjust its filters. Which is really neat, because it also does all that without ever plugging it into a computer.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah.
As a guy who doesn't really like to tune himself, it's appealing. For sure. I mean, I can't say that was the original draw to Kiss, because the original draw to Kiss was just pure stick feel that couldn't be replicated. And of course, now everybody's caught up to Kiss by now. And, you know, as far as we can tell, you know, because who knows what, you know, Felix is really doing in the background over there. But everybody's pretty much caught up. So, I mean, now it's, what is it that makes a system? Like, how are you going to have a favorite now when all of them can do everything that all the other ones can do?
Yeah, but configuring them is different, even right down to rates. Not one of them uses the same rate formulas per se, so the rate numbers mean different things.
You see how good that segue was? Yeah.
And, you know, regardless of the PID tuning aspects and the filter tuning aspects, because let's be real, do you have to do that anymore with any of them? Typically, no. And of all the bad flight characteristics that you can bring out in them, by becoming a better pilot, you can also learn how to fly around them. So that being said, the number one thing you really only need to pay any attention to is rates, but none of them make it easy because they use their own rate interpreters. I don't know. It's an interesting argument. It's an interesting discussion, not an argument. That was the wrong word.
Vampire, I literally just got chat up, so bite me. I've got coffee in me, so I'm a little grouchy still because I fell asleep and woke up like 5 minutes before the damn stream. And I also have sand in my vagina. Wherever he's at, that was, yeah.
Oh man. Hardware availability and compatibility are a part of it too. Absolutely. You know, that's the thing with Betaflight and Flight 1 and any of the others is that they have standardized on BL Heli LS or BL Heli 32, and any ESC that will run that firmware can run with them just fine. Whereas really to take advantage of KISS, you have to be flying all Flyduino hardware as far as ESCs and flight controller. But the hardware is where it really starts to separate itself too, because anymore, I gotta say it. How do you have something that you charge a premium for that is mature as it is and does not have OSD in 2019?
That's part of Felix's point. He doesn't want anything extra. Now, that doesn't mean that the pilots don't want it, obviously. But he's trying to stick to his model. Keep it fucking simple, stupid, whatever.
Yeah, the new TVS has got OSD built in it.
That's what I do. I use the Evo.
Yeah, so that'd work out pretty good.
Yeah, especially since PDBs aren't really a thing anymore. Since everybody's gone 4-in-1, you know.
Yeah, I gotta run a PDB with my Radic flight controller.
I don't know. I just can't shake the feeling. I understand the whole keeping it simple, but it is 2019 and features, you know, they don't go backwards. It's not about taking features away. Everybody wants new features. And OSD, let's be honest. One of the major things you get with OSD is being able to monitor your battery without one of those stupid fucking things you plug into your balance port.
Yeah, it's definitely a must, and I agree. And I really think that's one thing that Felix, you know, over at KISS needs to get his ass on, because it has become an industry standard. So I believe it should be part of Keep It Simple. What he doesn't keep simple is what he doesn't talk about. Is like the tech in those ESCs, baby.
There is nothing being talked about any of it. There is zero documentation. There is zero hints at any of it. That guy is really good at making sure his stuff stays private.
Yeah, China ain't busting out no Flyduino KISS shit.
No. But I'll say this, on the flip side of things, for Flight 1, flying as good as it is, because there's very few people that have had bad experiences with Flight 1. And I mean, of the hundreds I've seen, I can only think of one off the top of my head, and that was Bot Grinder.
Yeah.
Okay? And if you look at all the dialogue between Preston's developers, and how open he is about what they're doing, not just with the software, but also the hardware, I find it a little bit intriguing, because they're able to take that feedback and these experiences and leverage them for what they are for improving the product.
Well, I agree, and I think he learned a lesson from all the heap tons of shit that we all gave him on a daily basis for being a thieving bastard, and changed his business model a bit.
Well,
come on, that wasn't something shocking I just said.
Well, depending on whose circles you're talking in and whether they're Flight 1 homos, they will either tell you that it was all made up and none of it ever happened, and they'll act like, you know, it's basically the Trump administration, but for FPV. Nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about, right?
Flight 1 meant bad.
But look, let's face it, in its current incarnation, he's been doing a lot of really genius things with what he's done with the software, and not just he. Honestly, I think his developers have more to do it. Preston is a programmer, and I'm not saying he's not talented, but there's a lot of things he hasn't been able to pull off himself, and that's not to discredit him. That's just saying that he can't take all the credit. So I'm giving it to the Flight 1 team. What they have been able to do no other platform has done that we have the insight into. And it's done a lot for their flight characteristics. I mean, you guys know Wild Will. He's a Falco X developer, right? For Flight 1.
Johnny FPV. I don't know, developer. Yeah, I guess you could call it developer. He might not do the coding or whatever, but he had a big part of the new stuff.
Well, he's involved with the testing. I don't know that he does any of the programming. But the reason I love that so much is because, you know, Wild Willie is somebody who is publicly recognized for his flight abilities and his skill because he does have his own unique style. It's not exactly an easy style to duplicate. And it's a style that's prone to a lot of bad flight characteristics. So you have somebody who's already pushing the envelope as far as flight goes as a pilot who is able to take that knowledge and interpret it into the product. I mean, that's huge.
Oh, there I am.
You could just fart on screen. We don't care.
Is that what happened? I was confused.
Pretty sure he's just farting.
During this awkward silence, allow me to address, yes, Panic OSC is something everyone should have, and processing power is not even an issue. KISS runs 1K on on an F7, for Christ's sake.
Yep, all those other CPU cycles are useful for all that filtering because filtering, as was discovered or at least acknowledged about a year ago, is really the next big frontier to master. It's not the PIDs anymore.
Yep. And AA, I don't think he likes us anymore, bro. I don't know.
You know what? And I was going to address that as well. I'm going to take a picture of that remark and send it to Joe.
Implement?
Because this is high tech.
Implement? Dick Rider!
Hey, that's all right. We all got to find a dick to ride at some point.
Shoot, Felix's feels mighty good to me.
You just like it because it's pencil thin and it doesn't tear anything.
Hey.
Oh, man. Now, did you catch the bot grinder video earlier today?
Nope, I've been driving all freaking day and then I fell asleep.
So, the first thing that I'm going to address is not what I find the most intriguing. Bot Grinder and Rotor Riot went their separate ways. And not due to a disagreement. Bot Grinder has something up his sleeve and he's working on something and it doesn't quite mesh with the Rotor Riot philosophy. And so he's the one that essentially left them. But like you said, we parted on good terms. It wasn't a breakup. He needs to, or wants to do his thing, and he knows it doesn't match Rotor Riot's vision and philosophy. So he is going his own way with something, and he fucking left it at that. Now, this intrigues me, because what could he be up to take his FPV to the next level that does not involve having a sponsor behind him like Rotor Riot, somebody that gives him the ability to travel all over the place, all expenses paid, gives him motors, gives him opportunities, works
and a
with
job.
him. But that's what I'm saying. Like, the whole thing just completely intrigues me.
Okay, I have a running theory I just came up with. I just came up with it, so it's probably stupid. It's actually more of an observation. I've noticed that every time a Rotor Riot pilot starts making enough money on their own, they leave. Simple as that. Now, one thing I'll give him is he's a genius at marketing, dude. Like, that dude's on fire with marketing.
Well, he's very engaging. You know, as we learned from being able to spend time with him, he's genuine. Now, Not that he doesn't have his online persona, because, you know, he's a little bit in your face. Oh my God.
Panic, that was fucking good, bro.
I'm investing.
Right.
Christ. Anyway, you know, he has a little bit more of a uppity persona when the camera's on, a little bit more energy, but his last video was just like us sitting on the picnic table talking to him. But he is genuine, and I think that's the thing that really strikes him, is that he's so engaged. Because, I mean, look at the live streams he runs. Look at the community outreach he has. Look at all the people who he touches and all the things he's involved with. And he just leverages that. That is his marketing plan.
Yeah, hey, we touched him. And nobody's ever going to see it because Josh didn't put it in the damn video.
Oh, they might see it. I don't always have to just use what we did yesterday today.
Dude, that was like a month and a half ago.
It didn't. I know. It can be used anytime.
All right, well. I wouldn't be chucked if I didn't at least give you some shit.
I'm not complaining. Yeah, but you know their latest favorite pilot is Vanover. You notice he's been in everything.
All right, Vanover. You know what he reminds me of? Your classic RC plane dork. Like in every sense of the word. Great fucking pilot. He's an insanely good pilot, but yeah.
He is, and he's an excellent racer, and that's really where he shines. Not that, you know, that doesn't translate into other areas, but just watching him on camera, I can't imagine, I've never met him in person, but watching him on camera, he comes across cocky, arrogant, definitely confident in that he knows what he knows, extremely opinionated, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but the way he carries himself, he's got that super lanky build. The dude, you know, he's built like a toothbrush. I don't know. You put it all together, and it's a show.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a shtick, man, and it's odd, and he's kind of new to it still, so you can tell it's him doing his shtick. He hasn't quite gotten the smoothness into it yet.
Yeah, he's not universally likable. He does not appeal to people's better nature.
Considering how much we're all trolls at heart, that's not a bad thing.
No. But at least we appeal to the better nature of some. What's going on, Paulie Lai?
Yeah, J-Bo!
Not much. Another half hour, shirts come off, tits come out. Look out.
I'm not showing my tits today.
Yeah, you will.
I've not had enough coffee, been eating. And
Right over there.
Polly, not like a toothbrush. Oh.
What was that?
Oh.
What was that?
Oh. Like a toothpick.
Ah, is it?
This is the funnest thing to come into FPV in a while. I'll say that right now. Just because it's different. I'm waking up, Clement. I'm halfway through my coffee, okay? Give me some slack.
How many cells you running on that toothpick?
2 with 450 mile. And I went the classic Bob build. I took my trash can, all-in-one board and VTX and camera, threw it on Bob's frame, but got the Hyperlight 1103 8022 kV motors. Of course, put the XT30 on there and threw a micro axie on there and direct soldered the motors, just like, riding Bob's dick all the way home. And, dude, this thing flies amazing for what it is. Like, it's I always listen to Bob's videos, and like you could always hear it in his voice, the constant surprise at what these things could do, and he wasn't exaggerating.
I've been really impressed with what little bit I've seen, because you've had that up, what, about a week now? Maybe a week tops?
Yeah, I've only thrown out one video from it so far, but yeah.
Yeah, but I watched that 2 or 3 times because I was just I was looking for all the little stuff, right? And it has really good flight characteristics. Now, in that, I couldn't see your throttle position. You know, there's certain things that I just have to use my imagination on. But I can tell you that it definitely doesn't fly like a ducted Mini. And you had that Mobula.
What's that, Sidewinder?
I said that's for sure. It was flying pretty good. I watched the video.
And I'll do one for you, Josh. I'll throw up the throttle and everything you want to see. It's not a big deal.
Oh, yeah. I just, those are the things I look at because it helps me fully understand what's going on. It's just a visibility thing. Nonetheless, it doesn't have excessive prop wash. It doesn't have a problem recovering from dives. It flies really clean. It's extremely maneuverable. And that's just knowing your flight style. It does a really good job at keeping up with what you're doing.
Yeah, and my throttle, just cruising is probably just under 50%. But I did put a 25% throttle expo on it. Now I tried a higher one. Like I just threw in all the settings from the trash can and just said, okay, let's see what happens. Because don't tell anybody I'm flying beta flight, okay? I got a reputation of a bull.
Right?
Yeah.
And, you beta fags. And pretty much it worked. I mean, I didn't like the throttle was way, like, too much resolution. So I just cut back on that throttle because it was at 50%. And then I cut it back down to 25 to see what happened. I maybe even go even lower, maybe 10, 5. Otherwise, it flies great. I mean, all I really need to do is, learn how to tune again so I can fine tune it. And it's good to go. You know what? I tried putting Bob's recommended bids on there. I mean, like he's using the same boards, basically the same motors, and everything. And dude, that tune sucked ass. Like ass.
Now, expand on that for me, because it's not the first time I've heard you remark that. Explain to me what you didn't like about it.
It was loose. It was sloppy. It was prop wash city. Like, it did not handle the way you would want a pod to handle at all.
Huh.
And you fix that just by changing your PIDs around?
Well, I originally started on the PIDs. Like, I went and got, the hot tune for the trash can when I had it. And so it was already on the board, so I started with that. And then I'm like, well, you know what? It does need a little more fine tuning. Let's try Bob's PIDs. Bob usually knows what the hell he's talking about, Maybe the motors are just that much more different than the ones he's using because they aren't the same motors, But
I am curious. I know that in the 5-inch arena, you can find how the different, I'll say, classes of motors do feel different. Like you can feel the power difference, the torque difference in a budget motor versus a premium motor and stuff. I wonder how much is coming into play with these smaller motors, but they're still pretty new. There's still some things being worked out with them.
Yeah, and of course the Hyperlight motors are just rebrands because that's what Hyperlight does. I do believe they're not Sunny Skies. They're Baduga had them in the chat the other day. Something that sounds like Fly Sky, something Sky. I don't know.
Well, Flywoo and iFlight both make micro motors now, 1103s. And look,
yes,
iFlight, they're the company that makes the Sings. And look, buddy, you and me both, Love those Sing motors.
Hey, I refuse to say it right. The word is zing.
Zing. All right, Plummet, take it easy, brother.
There, man. But I'm thinking I'm going to build another one. But because I'm going to try that whole 1S route that he's going with the higher KV. And I think I might actually go with the iFlight board, the iFlight F4. And those iFlight motors and just see what happens.
Yeah, because I am curious how much difference the motors will make. Now, I'm not privy, or I don't have it right on my head. What ESC are you running?
Well, the all-in-one board is a Happy Model F4 Pro V2.
Okay.
Which I believe is the board that Bob's running with at the moment that he's had the most luck with. It's either that or the HGLRC that he's using. I can't remember. Like, he's had one and it's lasted him through like 12 builds.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely be following you close. I've got most of the parts. I just haven't gotten my ass in gear and built it yet. But everything that I bought was with the idea of using 1S, not 2S.
You didn't hear shit, okay, Tri-Six? Talking to Quad Farm, that anybody that doesn't know that he really hates when you call him Quad Farm, even though his channel is called Quad Farm. So when he appears in the chat, his name is fucking Quad Farm.
Sense. Let's make it.
Anyways, what's up, bro?
Yeah. Oh, God, there was something that was just on my mind. You know, I try not to hop around like a squirrel too much, but as we talk, obviously, I've got shit going on all over my brain.
We were in the middle of iFly motors.
Well, we were just talking about the fact that, you know, definite premium brand companies are making micro motors now. And I wasn't sure. Because, like, magnets, right? You know, you'll hear people talk about the motor tech, and they're like, oh, it's got the N52 high-temp magnets. Well, anybody who truly engineers those motors will tell you that the magnets are not what's making the majority of the difference in those motors. More than anything, it's the quality of the copper and the style of windings, whether it's, you know, single-strand or multi-strand. And then the bearings. Between the bearings and the windings, that's where a lot of the flight characteristics of a motor come from.
Whatever, dude. It's all about the O-ring. For all y'all that don't know what the hell I was just talking about, iFlight's got an O-ring underneath the bell on the shaft, so that you can't over tighten your motor screw on the bottom and break it off, basically. And I personally believe that it adds some shock resistance.
Well, you know, the over-tightening thing, the fact that you could even over-tighten those screws was a little bit of a design flaw, in my opinion. Because as long as you have the length of the shaft properly sized, you should be able to tighten those screws all you want, and it will not over-tighten the bell. But on the note of that damper, you know, it's always been in the back of my head it's there, but I've had nothing but questions about how much it actually accomplishes. And, you know, the only way to truly tell would be to get a hold of some of those motors that have the damper, and some of those motors maybe, like, remove it and just throw a washer in there. But I'm curious just how much difference it makes.
Sounds like some good clickbait to me.
Yeah. What's going on, R.D.? Glad you could join us. Well, speaking of clickbait, I just want to throw out there, you know, I know you guys are going to be sick of me talking about this. I've tried not to talk about it too much, but this damn charger, you know, it's an off-brand model, and actually it's a rebranded charger, right? So iSky isn't even the company that actually makes it. So you find one that looks like this, that's the same price. They're $80. It really impressed me. Like, I set out to destroy this thing. between overcharging single batteries, trying to push too much amperage through it, just really trying to hate it. And I'll tell you, for an $80 charger, I'm really, really impressed with the features in it. You can calibrate it. So basically, you can do all the things that you can do with an ISD charger, with all the control over all the cells voltages, with all the calibration, with all the good stuff in there. But you don't have to buy a separate power supply to power this thing if you don't want to, because it has an AC power supply built into it. But if you want to use a DC power supply, you can almost double the amount of power that it outputs, and you can use a DC power supply. So you could grow into it as you got further into the hobby if you didn't want to jump, balls deep straight into the deep end. It just... And then the interface, to top it off. I really thought the interface was going to be shit, like clunky and all. The interface is probably the nicest thing about it.
Dude, that lady from Amazon, the Chinese lady, she's loving you right now.
I know. And look, it's not often I come on here and I talk about the shit that I get them to send me, because most of it isn't worth talking about, right? This is really good. This is going to become my new travel charger. I still carry around with me typically one of those little blue, what are they called? The B6 minis. Because it's compact. But with that, I have to carry around an external power brick to power the thing. Well, with this, I don't have to do that, and it's barely larger than the B6. So, I don't know, man.
Mystery D says that thing sucks ass. This does 80 watts.
80 watts is not that big. So in AC, this does 150 watts. If you want to go to the trouble of using a DC power supply, it'll push 240 watts. Essentially, 10 amps on 2 channels simultaneously.
No, I'm a little biased because I own a T8 ISDT. Now, of course, it does not come with a power supply, but in my situation, I live in a semi-truck. I don't need one. I have a DC power supply. I'm sitting in it. And, dude, I could push 40 amps all day long if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And for $10 more. But basically, yeah, that thing is a good deal because it has a power supply, because it's comparable to ones that don't have a power supply, and price-wise, that it's got.
Yeah, just everything all together. Because even with the B6s, right? Mystery D said, I got a B6 clone that came with a power supply. The thing is, with those power bricks, if you try to push too much power through them, you will burn them out. And if you want to buy a worthwhile power brick, you're not going to get it from the Sunny D or whatever that company is that makes them for $10. You're going to have to buy one of those like $25 power bricks. So now 35 plus 25, you're $60 deep. Not to mention what you might have spent on the original one that you might burn out. That's the number one problem I've had with the B6s, is that they burn shit out. They burn out those power bricks. The other thing is the lack of configurability, and they're not the most accurate chargers. Just saying, as somebody who owns both a clone and an authentic, they do have their drawbacks. So if your whole goal is just budget and what can I get for the least amount of pennies total, sure, you're always going to do better because you can find garbage to buy. This, I really thought was going to be garbage, and it's not. Now,
it looks like garbage.
Well, it does. It's got that ugly fucking gray color and all that other shit, but...
Looks cheap,
Right. But if you hold it, you can feel... And I took the screws. I took the feet off the bottom and took the screws out and even looked at the electronics. Like, there's no cold solder joints. There's nothing that says that this is just pushed as fast as it can be out of the plant. So, yeah. It was a pleasant surprise. It's nice to be wrong sometimes.
Every once in a great while. Keep you humble. June, I don't think any of us knows anybody that runs Spectrum, man. So Sorry, man, no opinion.
Mr. ED, just to follow up with you, I don't charge anything at 1C. I always have at least 4 batteries plugged into my balance board, and I'm charging, considering that I have 4 on there, at least 2C every time I charge. 1C is for newbies.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I use 1,000 milliamp batteries, so you can put 6 on a board, and I charge it at 10 amps. It's no problem. I think there's no safety issue there. You're not even coming anywhere near any kind of safety threshold.
Any battery that's not 2 years old is going to support a 5C charge, no problem. If you charge it anything less than 5C, you're fine. There's no sense in taking 40 minutes to charge one battery or half hour or whatever it typically comes to for like a 1,500 mAh battery. That's just
Ryan, I know you're listening. Don't charge at 5C. Just stick to what I told you.
You are no fun. 5C and charge that shit to 4.4 volts.
Hey,
Do it.
I met her only once, but I really like his mom, so.
She is sweet. Do it. 6C, do it. All right, so you guys in chat, who is up to date on all of the Noobapalooza videos? Because, you know, I've still got one I'm working on. Chuck bugged me about it yesterday. Was wondering, you know, how much longer he was going to have to wait. I'm really trying to make it perfect, so there is still one more coming. But I got a little burnt out. It was a lot to go through, a lot of footage. You guys that watched them know I was incorporating footage from all of us that were there, anybody who would send me footage, as well as all the B-roll. And it was a lot to go through. Had to slow down just a little bit.
I've been patiently waiting. Actually, no, there's been no patience at all. I've been giving Josh some shit every chance I get.
Yeah, yet that next Noobcrew still AWOL.
Yeah, basically. Well, you know, I had footy from a couple of people. I'm not going to name at the moment. Just all really sucked.
Oh, okay. So this is where we're going to go with this. If you gave Chuck footy for Noobcrew and it has not aired yet, that is your cue to get on your sticks and make something worthwhile and resend him some footy.
You know who they both are.
Yeah, I just don't know if they're watching.
And for you guys that don't know, because there hasn't been one in eons, I run a show on the FPVnoobtube called the Noobcrew. And pretty much you send me your off footage, I'll edit it, put the music I like on it, make the video I want to see out of it, and I'll throw it on the FPVnoobtube.
I really love it because I think it gives us a chance to learn just a little bit without, you know, being too much. It's not a Michael Rollins interview, right? It's a nice, short, sweet, whatever you want to give, and then here's some flight footage interpreted by Chuck.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ask any questions. I basically have a standard set of questions I give people. Who you are, where you're from, why you fly, message to the noobs, go. And you do a little you just talk to the camera for a minute or two, and I'll throw it next to the footy with some metal, some headbanging metal, and then publish it.
Yeah, if you can talk to your computer or your phone on a live stream, you can do an interview. You just kind of talk to yourself. The trick is you ask yourself the question internally and you answer externally.
Yeah. In June, I was thinking the same thing. Anyways, yeah, and even if it turns out to be a really goofy self-interview, even better, because I love to throw little GIFs in there, little pictures in there, and just make it funny. So if you guys want to be featured on the FPVnoobtube, hit me up. My name is on the screen right there. That's my messenger. Vampire, I'm pretty much talking to you. Okay, just saying.
Damn! Yeah, we need to start scrounging up some more of that. We also got to get our Joe back. And once in a while, it'd be nice to see Chris.
Well, should be showing up soon.
Yeah, Chris said he'd be joining us at 10. But we're stomping all over Crystal's crazy corner. You know, it's hard when you're involved with a big group of people who are content providers to try to not stomp on each other. Speaking of which, you guys know we hold this show every other Wednesday. So on the Wednesdays where we're not having this show, as you've seen Nightbot spamming, Joe Stan runs Rate My Rip Live. Now, for you guys that aren't aware, Rate My Rip is something Joe Stan does. You go to the Rate My Rip Facebook group, you post your rip, and the idea is that people give you feedback, honest feedback about your flight, okay? But he will take these, he will air them, and then they will have short discussions about whether they liked the video, what they liked, so on and so forth, live. So it's a really good stream to be on. It has really good attendance, but he does a really good job at hosting it too. And I think usually Copper Top's doing it with him.
Yeah, actually last week I was in his chat and I basically annoyed the crap out of him until he played my video.
That must have been the one I couldn't get on.
Yeah.
Very nice, Vampire. Was it? Were you happy with what he played? I'm hot garbage. Welcome to the club, brother. I know some of you guys think that, you know, we've got our shit going on, but those of us that are able to get together know that we spend more time cartwheeling across the lawn than we do flying through the air, so.
Absolutely. And Vampire, I know you don't have Messenger, bro. I'm telling you, you need to be the next person on Noobcrew.
I agree.
It needs to happen. We do all the homeboy. I'm shameless. We do all the homeboys first, basically.
That's how it works.
And you're up, dude.
Well, and here's the thing. So for you guys that don't know, Vampire's real name is John. His address, no, I'm just kidding. But John is a really cool, down-to-earth guy. You know, he's the kind of person that I enjoy talking to because he doesn't hold anything back. He tells you what's on his mind. But because we've all got the same mindset, you know, it's just a lot of fun to sit and talk. But I love John, too, because he owns his flights. And what I mean is, he will be the first one to tell you, I don't like flying in tight places. I don't like flying in this type of area. I don't like doing this and that. Like, he's like, I know what I like, and it's what I want to stick to, and it's where I'm happy. And I just love that. You know, there's so many people that get so caught trying to fly ways that everybody else is going to like so they can be the next big thing. And John's like, fuck you, I do what I want.
Yeah, he really, really, really hates trees.
But he loves parking lots.
Yeah, he does.
But, you know, it's all good. And that's the number one thing that I try to stress every time we get somebody new in the group or we meet up is, you know, don't get caught up in worrying about what everybody else is doing or trying to do what everybody else is doing. Like, do you? The number one reason we're out there is not, you know, to measure our dicks. It's to hang out and have a good time. The dick measuring comes later. All 6 inches.
Yeah, actually, I've been flying over nothing but concrete lately myself. It hurts.
I've been trying to get a little bit more aggressive.
What do you think, Sidewinder? Because I think you have an extra long, opinionated thing to say about this.
This guy has been here all show and said 5 words and disappeared no less than 3 times for at least 5 minutes.
I'm trying to get my chat going so I can type back in chat. Somebody asked if all these quads on my wall work, but no, I only got 3 that work. The rest is just boneyard scrap.
But they're all painted pretty.
They're all painted pretty. Except for my new one, I didn't paint it just for Chuck. I think I might call it the Chuck It.
As long as that's what you do with it, I'm okay with that.
All right, right. I was going to say, if you're going to call it the Chuck It, you can't put it on the ground to take off. You got to do the frisbee launch.
Frisbee launch?
Yep,
Yeah,
throw it, arm it, and fly it.
And then immediately fly it into a tree as hard as you can and see if you can make it out.
Flying into stuff is not a trick.
It is.
The Chuck It trick.
It's called fuck that, whatever it is you just flew into.
Basically. Actually, I think you're the one that kind of coined that, Josh.
I don't know. I'm not going to take any credit for that.
No, it was the day that we were there with Vampire and Bot. Because you're like, Jesus, you're just like, fuck you, tree.
Yeah, was that when you was bulldozing all the tree branches?
Man,
Yes,
I'm telling you, it was personal.
I've had a couple packs like that where you just hit a limb, it's like, I made it through that one, let's see if I can. The next thing you know, you're just trimming trees. Yeah.
Truth be told, that's what happens when you fly proximity. I mean, if you're going to get close to something, you are inevitably going to run into whatever you're getting close to. It's just how it goes.
Including guys that name themselves Vampire 4997.
Look, it's not running into Vampire you got to worry about. It's Vampire running into you.
Exactly.
With that said, I went out last weekend with Chris and Erik and Rusty and some of their wives and girlfriends, and we had a new guy show up, somebody that Chris found who initially ran into a group of racers, and of course their advice was, cock your camera up to 50 degrees and fly it like that. Come back when you're good. Like, that is literally what they fucking said to him. He was ready to quit. He was doing this for a few months. He was ready to quit. Chris was like, bro, you need to come out with us. First thing, turn down your fucking camera angle because that's just stupid. Second, come out and hang out with us. Have a good time. This guy is awesome. So, but man, even him, he's only been flying for a couple months, and he's got good sticks, but he's also ballsy, so he likes getting into it.
Vampire, we tried to get you guys to take us to a fucking bando when we were there. You're like, no, we really like red gazebos. Bandos are all a bust. My vagina hurts. Oh, I guess I'm feeling pretty dickish tonight.
Good.
We got a lot of brand new around here, like brand new buildings they're building.
So what are you doing talking to us, bro? Those things don't last. Go fly them all.
We've been ripping them, dude. They're going up everywhere. Those red iron buildings. I think I've seen Chuck had a video not too long ago in a building kind of like that.
It's my absolute favorite thing I've ever flown. That place was awesome. I only had like 5 or 6 packs there because it was late in the day. We lost the sun. And, you know, I put my quads in the water and it bashed the other ones. And, you know how I do. So that day was kind of short. It was too short. I want to go back, but it's built now, so it's gone. It was a one and done.
Yeah, that was a good edit, man. That was one I had to watch twice. You know?
It was a good edit. It was actually one of my favorites. You know, my top feedback for Chuck, his top feedback for me has always been get more aggressive. And look, as time has gone on, like, I totally agree. That's why my remark to you guys tonight was I've been trying to be more aggressive, right? My top feedback to Chuck is lose the twitch. Like, this guy likes super sensitive sticks, but there's a balance there. Like, you can have them reactive, but they don't have to be, it doesn't have to be a twitch fest. And what I loved most about that video, and when I told him, I said, I don't know if you were just feeling it that day, or, you know, you were already 5 packs deep, or if it was a combination of things, but you were smooth, but you were aggressive. You made my asshole pucker no less than 3 times. I'm pretty sure I shit myself once and it was all diamonds. And,
Yes.
and it wasn't so long that I got tired of watching everything, because that's something else Chuck does. He likes to try to squeeze, just put every fucking thing he can into one video. And after about 3 minutes, I lose it. Like, I'm not watching 8 minutes of your video. I don't.
Motherfucker, I am not cutting a song. It's going to be as long as the song is every time. And Vampire, I don't use Expo. Thanks to this guy or wherever he is.
Right. But no, that is one of my favorite Chuck videos.
Mine too.
Panic, I have one I've been sitting on just because I haven't gotten time to edit it, because I keep editing other things that just haven't finished yet. Nonetheless, I was with MD one day. We were flying a small playground, and it was one of those that has like tunnels and shit, and so I was all over it. I'm actually kind of anxious to put that one out there.
To be honest, vanish.
No, I was just going to say, you know, I'm not known for being the most aggressive. I kind of like to always have myself gathered, but here lately I've been throwing that to the wind and like just whatever happens.
All right, I got the translation for what he just said, because if you don't know him, then that didn't make any fucking sense. He just washed off his guy liner. Okay? The Drib was basically his inspiration on flight style. Not a joke. Not even making fun of him, like always. And yeah, like you said, I've been bugging the crap out of him. Higher camera tilt, go faster, get crazy, come on, put your balls on the end of that thing and go fly. And me and Chris were actually talking today, MD95 TSI, and we were talking about that. And dude, your last flight video, that's balls to the wall, bro.
Oh, you mean that little short snippet I sent you in Messenger?
Yeah. From the college, that last trip you just did. Video coming soon, apparently, guys.
Yeah, that's another one coming soon. Like I said, I have more video, more footy than I know what to do with. But no, I appreciate that. I'm having a lot of fun with it. But look, in my core, I'm still a sucker for slow flow. The problem is, unless you're in a tight spot, slow flow doesn't work. And that's why I initially started getting faster and a little more aggressive. I'm flying bigger areas. It takes too fucking long to go from here to there trying to fly slow flow.
I guess we got crazy echo again.
Yeah, it's my microphone. I'll do some work on it later. I've been muting it when I'm not talking.
But what do you think, Sidewinder? Are you fast and aggressive? Are you slow and flow? Are you juicy? What do you do?
Yeah, probably fast and aggressive. I land, my batteries are pretty much almost on fire.
Yeah, so you're like me. You want people to shit their pants when they're watching your videos and not knowing what's going on half the time.
Yeah, just rip, flip, dive, rip, flip, dive. So I usually fly over a lot of trees, and kind of like out in the country where a lot of trees, cow pastures. But I like to go to town and fly around banks and stuff too.
I have been looking, as I drive along, I've been looking at banks, dude. Like, they all have flight features. They all have features that you would want to fly on them.
Yeah. And they keep it all nice and mowed. You don't have to worry about, like, ticks and chiggers. Because, like, out here in the sticks, you go flying, you go down in the woods, you'll come out with 100 ticks and maybe a snake bite.
No ticks, no chiggers. You can fuck off with all that shit.
So that's what's cool about going hitting some banks and different stuff. So it's kind of like an little small town that I live in. You know, then I don't have to worry about snakes, chiggers, sticks. But right. Yeah, I like to rip pretty hard. But I don't know. I run like 30 degrees camera tilt, so I guess that ain't real fast ripping. But I do have one quad that I got my camera tilt down as low as I can, just for like for slow cruising stuff.
Trader.
Like if I want to, follow a slow car or something. But
Vampire, Vampire, me too. It was awesome. Anyway.
So I take it to the drag races sometimes, and then follow the drag cars on their way back from making a pass, and they're not going very fast on their way back. I gotta have like low camera tilt, kind of keep, so they are in my frame or whatever when I'm chasing them back. Pretty cool. But my phone and stuff's all jacked up. It won't let me load none of my videos from my GoPro onto my phone to get them into YouTube or Facebook. So I'm held up at the minute. I need an Android phone or something.
Well, if you didn't blow all your money on a new quad, that you could have bought a laptop.
You can't fly a laptop.
The man's got a point.
Yeah, I didn't know come back for that.
Well, I got a bunch of footage stacked up that I just watched back on for a SIM card through my TV, but a USB reader chip thing for my TV. But I don't know. Maybe I'll send you one of my chips and you can make a video. I got USB. Those like I got all kinds of footage. I just can't get it out right now.
I could do that. Vampire says you're full of shit. You could totally fly a laptop. Well, that's not what he said, but that's what I'm interpreting it, so it sounds funnier.
Yeah.
We put Joe's underneath my bunk. I just keep him in there. I don't let him out very often. But I don't feed him very much.
Give him just enough energy to stay alive, but not enough to escape.
Yes. And he's wily. That motherfucker does marathons and shit, so triathlons.
In reality, he is pretty wily. Oh, man.
Later, Vampire. We love when you come around, man. Funny shit tonight.
Yeah, so last week we went south, our local group. I'm calling it the local group because it's local to me. We have another north trip coming. I say north, coming to North Delaware or something. So when we do, John, we'll get up with you.
We need more vampire in our lives.
All right, John, have a good night, brother.
Well, hey, Crystal said we're cool, bro. My life's complete. Well, RC Funds, we're sending you back. Where the fuck's Chris?
He got his invite. Message. There's nothing stopping him.
That's our message.
Well, I wanted to talk about like the toothpick saw and all the hardware and the software. Like, if you was to build 5 of them, would you think they would all fly the same, or would one fly good and the rest fly the shit? If you built 5 toothpicks. So I've noticed even with 5-inch quads, you can build close to the same, and they're all kind of fly different. But like things like the smaller the motors would get, and the smaller the components would get, like the more frequencies and the more flaws and stuff like that would pick up, would be like worse,
It is. Everything, all the problems that you have with a 5-inch are amplified tenfold. So if you got vibration problems, they're tenfold in a freaking toothpick. You really, the key is you've got to have quality motors. If you use shit motors, it's gonna be Jello City, bro.
Yes, I've seen that new iFlight. The iFlight Turbo 120 or whatever. It's got like 16 by 16 stack. Some nice motors. I mean, it's quite a bit more in a toothpick because it's got those two stacks. It's got a flight controller and an ESC stack, and it's a little bit bigger, I think. Because like on Chuck, on your toothpick, it's just one flight controller with the ESC built in it. Is that right, or is that
it's an all-in-one board, whoop style board. You know, the 25.5 by 25.5, and then I have another board which is basically a whoop board cut in half into a triangle, and that's the 200 milliwatt VTX from the trash can. But AA, this is heads up for you. More shit coming to your house. He's my mailbox and my friend. in that order. No, I'm kidding.
That's what I loved most about that statement.
I just ordered the TBS Pro 32 Nano. So I'm going 400 milliwatts with this. And getting rid of that big old board, and I'm also putting the, I want to say HM DVR, the micro DVR, decased, so it's about the size of a nickel, and I think it's gonna be really good, man. I mean, the only other complaint that I have with this is the camera's it has the shittiest vertical field of view of any camera I've ever looked through. But technically, it's the best nano camera on the market. As far as, TVL goes, lines. It's like 1200 DVL, and its closest competitor is the RunCam ones are running like 600 and 700 DVL. So half. So, I don't know. Oh, the camera's the Caddx Turbo EOS 2 16.9 version.
There you go. I was going to say, with the large offering of micro cameras now, there's no reason for you not to get what'll make you happy.
Chris, he's like, hey, can you drop me the link in Messenger?
What?
I'm telling you no.
For you guys that follow, you'll probably be aware that, because I know I've bitched about it a handful of times, I use my work laptop for everything. And up to about 2 months ago, that worked pretty flawless, aside from the fact that it's kind of a turd beast and it doesn't have a ton of power, right? Well, now, just due to some security concerns, my IT department has locked down everybody's laptops and computers, even those of us that travel, and I can't get Facebook on my computer anymore, which puts me completely out of touch with what's happening right here and when people start asking for stuff. And so that's why I get a little bit cranky when people start, do this for me or do that, because it's hard now, and not in a good way.
Josh, shut up. Panic just said Nano Split 3 is coming. I'm very interested in that. If it's truly nano, like a board, I would be willing to try that. Because the one thing with this camera, the Caddx, yeah, it has, the best amount of lines or whatever, so it's got more detail. But low light, nothing. You can't fly it in low light. You can't fly it at night. It's horrid. Like that? Oh my god.
Chris.
He's here? I was still talking shit on Messenger.
This Zoom is different. I was waiting for it to bring me into YouTube. It brings me into Zoom.
Cool. That's right. Zoom's the shit, bro.
That'll be determined. I'm lost there. I'm like trying to set everything up.
When it comes to the conferencing platform, it is way superior to Hangouts. And then it also gives us the ability to have OBS. And so I can have my camels all over everything.
Yes.
So you got to set chat up like you normally would have it set up on YouTube. Okay.
Thanks, Panic. I'm actually going to have to look at that. Of course, I'm going to wait a little bit because every split product that's ever come out has been a big pile of dog shit, Chris.
I hear you. Y'all haters. I think people are hooking them up wrong. I got to be honest on that.
20 by 20 board. Oh, that kind of sucks, Panic, because, I mean, unless I bust out the drill bit and make 20 by 20 mounting holes, what's in it is 16 by 16 or 25.5 by 25.5. All
right. Set up now, I think.
First of all, I have never heard of 25.5 by 25.5. But the 16 by 16, it is a shame we don't have more offerings in that arena because of the micro game now.
The 25.5 is wood boards. Make sense now?
I have had the chance to run the Run Cam Split 2, and when I got it, I was really concerned at first because I watched a lot of reviews. People said it's terrible, it's trash, they can't see out of it, it's da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So like, okay, let me just do it and get the experience, and I actually like it. I don't really see the big downfall of it. I soldered a capacitor right on where I soldered the power, and I picked 5 volts up off my board, off my FC on it, and it seems to work fine. Like I got footage on my channel and all from it. Really decent in my eyes, not unless I'm missing something.
I was waiting for that. That was quite delayed.
Brian, just get in here.
Aaron, how you doing?
Panic. I was looking at the Run Cam DVR because its form factor is pretty good. It's got, mounting holes. But my homeboy Josh Ketchum, he's known. He's the king of DVR. Like, people have asked him, dude, is that HD? What camera is that? Because he uses the only thing he uses is the onboard. Gotcha. And it's like 620 by 440 or, wow, actually, I think I said it right. And he told me the Run Cam DVR is shite. Got to go with that HM or HG or whatever it is. The one that comes in the plastic case. You just decase it, and dude, it's like that.
Yes, I know which one you're talking about. They actually work pretty good. I know quite a few people that actually used them. Now, on crashes, they say secure them really well, but you put all that coating stuff on your ends and all that, so you should be golden with that. That's the only downfall. And ejecting cards on crashes. That's the only downfall.
Brian, you got to turn down your volume, buddy. Thank you. Yeah, well, for you guys who don't know what he's talking about, I use that. It's triggered by UV light. You would know it is 5-second fix it as seen on TV. Now, I don't use that shit because it's stupid. You're overpaying for it because it's that seen on TV. But I actually bought a thing of it, and it came with the freaking UV flashlight for like 16 bucks, and it lasts forever. And basically, it turns into plastic when you shine UV light on it. So
I thought that was
you can put it on there. You can clean it. You can mold it. You do whatever you want to it. And then hard.
Josh, I thought that was a gimmick. To be honest with you, I really did. I didn't really think that the light dries the glue. I'm dead serious with you. You'd have to do in-depth review for that thing to get me to believe it. Really.
I don't do
leave the glue set without the light. How long does it usually take?
Oh, with the light, it takes about 15 seconds.
Without the light, does it take a while?
No, without the light, put it in the sun and maybe, I don't know, I've never done it. Why would you do that?
Because you just got to see if the light works, or they just getting you to shine light on your work.
It's chemically triggered by UV light.
Okay.
The glue or the epoxy he uses, it's the UV light that kicks off the chemical reaction for the cure. Now, some people are under this impression that UV light also cures conformal coating. No. Conformal reacts to the UV light so you can check the coverage. It has nothing to do with the drying.
And I highly recommend everyone that waterproofs their shit to get a UV light to check your work.
Or a 5-gallon bucket of water works well too, but
yes.
Close your hand, throw it in the bucket, and if it works.
Right?
That's a good way to put a smoke stopper on it, and then.
If it doesn't smoke, then you know you have covered everything perfect. If you pull it out the water and something doesn't work, you can blame nobody but yourself for number 1, not coating everything, and number 2, for putting it in the bucket, and number 3, for listening to my dumb ass.
And number 4, for not filming it and putting it on YouTube.
Yes, always film what you do. Never, 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 never do nothing without your camera. Gotta have a witness.
God, I'm so proud right now. Jeffrey Style, I want to address that. I want to address it because of how awesome the Rattel is. Now, admittedly, I'm one of those people that got the Micro Eagle, and for the longest time, I didn't see the shimmer. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. You don't want to see it. I went almost 2 years, or a year and a half, without noticing, and then one day I saw it, and I couldn't unsee it. Drives me nuts. It also suffers some typical drawbacks of the sensor being used, and one of those is a whiteout condition where either going to really dark really fast, I've even had it, or sorry, it's usually when you look up at the sun and then you turn away, it like whites out the screen, but I've also had it occur from looking at a black area.
Josh, it's the opposite.
Right.
Of what you just said. It's from when you're going from dark to light, it flashes white for over 1 second.
Yes. Now, all of this for a camera that costs $50 fucking, which, don't get me wrong, it's a great camera. At least it was a great camera until the Rattel came out. The Rattel does not have the shimmering, it does not have the whiteout condition, and it costs $30, not $50. I am all about the Rattel.
Yeah, every single quad I have, right? Here's 2 of them. Micro Eagle. Micro Eagle has been the best camera for me since Josh turned me onto it, basically. Well, I don't know, about a year. I'm just going to say a year because I don't know what the hell. And I have not flown it yet, but this is the Rattel, and I'm going to give it a shot. And I'm kind of excited because, well, kind of known for killing all my FPV cameras in short order. So if I can buy them for $30 and they're better than what I use, whoo.
That's exactly where I was at. Now, if you're one of those people that cares about the numbers game and you actually have yourself convinced that 1200 TVL is better than 800 is better than 600, you'll be happy to know that the Runcam Eagle, if that's what you've been using, is an 800 TV lines camera. The Rattel is a 1000 TV line. I can tell you that your goggles don't give a shit about the TV lines, and there's no way you can tell a difference, and it doesn't matter, but there are people that will argue with me because they like numbers.
Sidewinder, use your words.
Quick, too. Yeah.
Now, I've seen like the lower end cameras and say they're 600 TVL. I just don't believe the numbers. So I don't think that's a true 600 TVL because I've actually had cameras the Rotor Riot 1 run cam, that thing's only 600 TVL, beautiful. But then if you go to like buy the economy 600 TVL, looks nothing like it. So I do see a difference in the quality of cameras, definitely, when it comes to buying the quality ones or your economy ones. I want to try to retell because I have saw what you saw before, that little bit of whiteout, and it's scary. I actually crashed quite a few times due to that.
It's not a little bit. When it whites out, I mean, a second feels like forever when you're careening through the air.
Yeah, and it flashes for like a second and a half, like straight every time.
And see, it does feel like a long time, but when you say second, I mean, that's like really going, wow, is it that long? Because I get it. I'll tell you where I get it. I get it when the sun sets on the backside of the trees where I fly, and when I come up through the tree, I'll get it a lot of times right there. I'll flip through, and the sun will be blasting it, and I'll get that white, and then it's like it's really hard to compensate and keep flying with it. Like, but I managed to do it most of the times, but sometimes I've crashed with it.
Yeah, I mean, what it's affected me most is bandos, which is something I've been trying to fly more of lately. And when, you know, you're flying out through a broken window, inverted, you know, backwards, whatever, and your video goes out for a second, you just wrecked your quad because you're flying in a fucking bando.
The number one most important thing that you have for your quad is the sight. It is your only sense that gives you any feedback about what's going on. You fuck with that, you're lost.
Yeah, that's your best link. You lose sight for even a half a second, but your quad done went 500 foot. You know, or even if you're in a bando, even 5 foot straight into a wall.
Right.
Exactly.
I actually was out yesterday, and I'm having trouble with it's the oh my god, it's not the oh my god frame. So what happens was it's powering through. The stack has its own VTX built-in integrated one. So on 3S it was really blocking me out, right? So I was like, well, it was just 3S, and I did that just in the yard to test it because that's the only battery I had charged. So I take it over to the field yesterday. At first I had great camera, it wasn't cutting out, so I'm like, okay, it was just the 3S power. I punch up over the tree, I lose it. And as soon as I lose it, I'm on the outside of these trees. It lands all the way over here in front of the guy's garage door, and he's out front working on his lawnmower. I'm like, just my luck. Hold on, right on the ground next to him.
Hey guys, Chris flies there like every day. It's his little spot. So if he pisses this dude off, he is shit out of luck.
Yeah, I'm straight parking it after this. So I can't piss him off. So
it's about a problem I was having with one particular quad. When I'd fly it and do like a real hard or flip, the video would black out. But I noticed my OSD was still on, and then like when you'd land real hard, it would kind of do it, or barely hit something. It would just. So I kept checking, and then sometimes it wouldn't do it, and then all of a sudden it started doing it again. Well, it turned out to be the wire that plugs into the back of the camera, you know, that where you plug it into your camera.
Right.
So I just took it off and soldered a new one in my board and plugged and just put a new one on it, and it fixed it.
I think sometimes them little inside the little metal connectors, I think they crack or something. And then that's what gives you your intermission for some reason.
Yeah, and I was getting
it makes contact. Sometimes it don't.
Yeah, and it was something simple, you know.
Now that's exactly what you would use that shit we were talking about, the cures with the UV light, the 5-second fix it.
Gotcha.
That will basically use it to prevent those wires from breaking at the joint, from just getting wiggled, you know.
Yeah, wiggling back and forth. I got you. It makes sense for sure.
Put a little tab on there, and then
I've seen that probably to work good on the ESC or the flight controllers and the all-in-one ESCs too. They got that little cable that comes down. I'll have a lot of times I'll hit so hard I'll knock them little cables right out of the ESC.
Ryan, I know you're back there somewhere. Double A wants to know how your acro flying is going.
Oh, it's going great, man. I mean, I'm just flat out killing it.
I love that. You know, when we went and first picked up Ryan, he was, you know, because I wasn't sure. He did a lot of micro flying, and one of my questions was, do you always fly in like an angle mode? He's like, well, with my micros I do, and I just assumed he flew with his 5 inches, right? And then I was like,
well, with the whoops, I mean, you have to fly in like angle because Chris was saying, like, when you fly like a whoop in acro, it's really hard, and I found that out, so I was like, yeah. But
Brian,
what?
We're going to get you to change that. That's your next switch to acro is your whoops.
I told him it's just faster. You just have to take your time because it's so much faster.
Yeah,
it is. It's very fast. I mean, like I did my first like acro with the whoop, and I lost the prop. I was like, yeah, that's not a good idea. I'll just save the 5 inches and these little micros here, right here, just like this little dude here. It's a really cool. It's a really cool flyer. It's a diatone rabbit.
Yeah, 349.
Huh?
Is it a 349 or 249?
The 249.
Yeah, those are cool, man.
It's a rabbit. That's a diatone rabbit 2-inch. Yeah, and it flies great. I mean, I love the way it flies because it's so small, and you can. I mean, like I fly that. Whoops. I fly that in acro too.
I've heard good things about them.
Huh?
I've heard good things about those. They're pretty fun.
Yeah. I pretty much, I mean, I don't really fly the whoops much anymore because they're not all that fun anymore to fly. So I pretty much just kind of let them sit and like hang up. But I fly more so like the rabbit and like all my 5 inches, and I fly I fly the Acrobrat, and I fly the Vortex 180. I fly the egg quad, whatever it is. It's the
build toothpicks. Yeah.
Chris,
yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Ryan wants you to build him a toothpick.
I done told him. Let's do it. I built mine back up today. I'll put the Beta 75X on this monster, dude. Now I got to get I just threw these props on there, but I got to put a piece of floss in between the Avon Rush props that I'm gonna use. But other than that, man, this thing is on point. Tuned it. Was acroing in the house earlier. Toothpicks, the way it goes for sure. Josh, gotta get your toothpick going, brother.
I know, someday.
Listen to him someday.
He ain't never gonna build that thing.
I'll stay on him, Chuck.
I got some 1103 6,000 kV motors. Does that work on toothpick?
Yeah.
6,000 kV?
I think so.
Yeah, they'll work fine. Cause
the rooster.
I was running I run 1103s. Like that's the good thing with the Beta 75X. They come automatically with 1103 motors, so they fit right on here. But these are 11,000 kVs right here. These things are crazy.
Panic has a good point. I was trying to think what S goes on 6,000 kV, and you're going to want to run that on 3S.
For the different kV, that makes sense.
Sidewinder.
Yep. Yeah. Because, I think that's what this is a list. Eocene Wisdom, I think it comes through.
Yeah, especially because that's going to be a little heavier frame already. So you might actually want to think about putting a little HD cam in there, like a splitter or whatever in there, because that's the size for the HD, man. With this, you're not getting HD. It ain't happening.
Yeah, I was wanting to put these motors on that frame. I ain't worried about HD. But
Yeah, pretty much any board you got, any whoop you got, just take the whoop board and then take those 1103 motors and just solder them on. Soldering them on is a pain in the neck. Now these I skimped out and just put some tape on the frame and just left the little JST connectors on. I soldered the Mobula board the first time and didn't feel like going through that today. So I went cheap.
I agree. You know what? It's information that's known, but I'm gonna repeat it anyway. You put the XT30 on there. That's gonna with 20 gauge wire. That's important. It's hard to fit it on there too.
Yep.
That's gonna give you 20 to 30% more performance on your toothpick. All right. The second mod is to take those JST connectors off of there and direct solder your motors. Now, this is a bitch.
Bitch.
Shut up, AA, because I know what's going through your head right now, you micro soldering bastard. It's a bitch. I hate it. But that will give you like 10 to 15% more performance on top of the 20 or 30% you're getting from the XT30 mod. And those numbers are real. It doesn't sound like it's true. It sounds like bullshit, but it is true.
So AA's got some eyes like me. He can solder in micros, huh?
Yeah.
I can solder them. Don't get me wrong. Like I could rip it apart and solder it. They're just tiny, but I love soldering the smaller shit anyway. But today I was just like in a hurry. I didn't feel like lengthening the wires and all that shit. So I just went ahead and thrown it together. I caught a lipo on fire doing it because I didn't have tape on the frame at first. So when you put them down on there, them little connectors, yes, they still make contact with the frame with the little wire ends that are in there. So when I plugged in, the battery was like, I was like, get it out of the house.
See the bridge.
So I smoked on them. Yeah, you got the setup there, Ryan. You're all up in San Francisco. What?
Yeah, I got the Golden Gate Bridge back here. Check this out.
You're the boss, bro.
Hey, Panic.
I'm gonna fly.
Panic. I don't see the need for race wire on these bros.
I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna fly right to the Golden Gate Bridge right here.
Hell yeah. The props aren't going to go through the wires, especially if you're using these. Now, I do have the harder plastic ones coming from Piro.
Oh, I'll figure that
I've got them ordered already. But what most people do instead of using the race wire, because that's just extra weight, dude, and weight is everything, is you just wrap the wire around the arm. Just wrap it around the arm and then solder it on. And I'm even a little paranoid, and I put just a little piece of electrical tape right there. And they're going to be fine, bro. There's no reason for race wire.
Yeah, that's what I did on mine.
That's just extra soldering.
Just put the thing. I like the race wire, especially the LED ones, but not. Yeah, on this it would definitely create too much weight. I think lighter the better on these guys. I'm gonna get up with Vampire and Willie P to find out what props they're using on their 75X motors. They might be using what you're using, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. A lot of people, depending on the motors you use, you do have to extend the motor wires. But if you just buy the Hyperlight ones, it's plenty long.
Oh, yeah, definitely buying new motors and doing it. They're plenty long enough.
Golden Gate Bridge back here. See all the water?
What's the best controller to buy for the 680?
But what?
Ryan, I'm not going to be happy until you get a Shark Tank aquarium and have sharks swimming around behind you.
With lasers. They better have lasers on their heads.
Yeah, I need that, don't I?
His earmuffs are like disappearing.
Yeah, I know, right?
So how do you know how to do OBS but don't know how to edit?
What? Well, this is not.
Damn, called you out, son.
Shots fired, bitch.
Poof, poof, poof.
This is not. It's not OBS. It's actually when we're in Zoom, there's a thing right here called virtual background.
Really?
Oh, so you're on there? Yeah. You're on there playing with all the settings.
You're on my phone. Yeah, like in Zoom. Yeah, it's just some kind of virtual background that they have. I don't know.
Oh, look, I did one that's got a drone wall. Check that out.
Well, yeah, I
Oh,
know.
sweet. I want that one.
Yeah, I got the Golden Gate Bridge behind me.
Hey, Ed, Chris
Not
can
actually
get back,
OBS. It's just virtual
Chris can get
background.
back
What
to
it is on the
you
phone.
on that privately, or we can do it now, whatever.
What is the pre-arm? I can't get it, dog.
Yes.
Just take the pre-arm off, Ed. If you didn't set a pre-arm switch,
See, I can turn the.
you just put it on
I can turn the virtual background off.
put it on
Yeah.
beta flight and go to the modes and just more or less take all my stuff I
Okay.
had in there and delete it out, and then just set your own switches up. That way, all my stuff's gone. I usually just do that. I set a pre-arm every time. I've nipped my fingers too many times with just an arm button. So
Yeah. In all reality, Ed, you should maybe just talk with Chris later or tomorrow or whatever and set up your
I can
pre-arm.
do this. I can do this.
Fingers are nice.
you need fingers, yes.
Oh.
Gallery view. He's got Tom and Jerry. Look at this guy. Man, you better put some videos on YouTube if you're doing all that. You definitely can edit.
He's got sexy
No.
Tom behind him at that. He's all,
Virtual background. There's some kind of virtual background. Like I can do that too.
He looks like Marty McFly's, like when he's being phased out of the picture.
Yeah.
He's being erased in time.
Put Stewie's wall
Right.
behind you.
Stewie. Let's see. I can only like add 3. See, look, I'm already FPV thing.
Do Jar Jar's picture behind you.
Who, Jar Jar?
He's like,
The quad. That's the quad right
Darth.
here.
All
Darth.
sneaky
No,
over your shoulder like...
We need Darth Jar Jar.
Yeah, Darth Jar Jar. Right.
I gotta hook up my OBS one day and play with it. I haven't messed with that thing in so long. I probably forgot what half of it does.
Do you know what's amazing? You know what's absolutely amazing is we've gone like 20 minutes right now. Josh hasn't said a fucking word. Whoa.
You guys are talking. So I
Go
figured I'd
for
eat
it.
my dinner.
Well, the floor is yours now that you're eating.
Yeah. Say stuff. Be
I
intelligent.
can put.
There it is.
There it is.
And everybody just left chat.
Now I don't need to say anything.
Uh,
I'll
So
tell
what-
you what, though, Chris. We were out last weekend, and it was all super humid and shit. It was 92 degrees out up here today in Connecticut, and it felt like it was 70 degrees. No humidity.
Damn.
I went
Yeah,
out.
it was.
I ran through about 7 packs in an hour.
Dang. Yeah, it was scorching here.
Got the alien invasion behind me. What the?
The
Hey,
probe!
Panic,
The
you can talk-
probe!
Panic, you can talk about whatever you want, man. I mean, at this point, we've run out of shit we pre-thought to talk about. We're just bullshitting and talking shit to each other. So if you got some discussion to have at it, or we're probably going to go in a little bit here.
I see Aaron got that wall going on back there. He before you know it's going to be on your down to the floor. Then you're going to have some on the ceiling a little bit. You can see.
Oh, geez, Aaron Alberts.
You know
Oh,
that guy?
There's
Oh
that.
yeah, I know him. I met him at Rampage. I actually met him at Rampage.
I ain't seen him on YouTube in a while. Have you seen him?
No, he was. He was on Drone Disorder, but not anymore. I don't know what. He just kind of faded away.
Well,
Aaron
I
Alberts. I mean,
fly with AA every chance I get. And to be honest, he flies for him. He's one of the few people that flies for him that I know.
right.
He's still doing the fun thing then.
Oh yeah.
'Cause that's when it's the most fun, when you're flying for yourself and having fun. When you start
Right.
filming Just does it. The fun factor's still there, but not as much fun, I guess.
I 100% disagree with that because I don't view this hobby as flying drones. I view this hobby as flying drones, editing, artistically editing video, working on sound. It's all part of the hobby for me, and I love every second of all of it. Like I edit, but the difference is most people you think of when they edit and they put videos out that, and yes, I like views just like anybody else. I'm not a fucking weirdo.
There we go.
But if there was no YouTube, I would make these videos because I enjoy making.
Look at this thing.
I would make them and email them to Josh, so he could tell me they're too long and my sticks are shaky.
And I still watch them at least up to 3 minutes. At which point I do skip around, like, because I'm looking to see if there's anything else buried in there, and then I jump to the end to see if you buried any nuggets at the end. But as you're flying around the tree or through the same gap for now the 5th time, I'm kind of over it.
I never went through the same gap once in that video, you schlep. It was just the same tree.
And honestly, it's just my attention span of a fly.
Right.
And Chris, if you think I'm letting you get away with that one on air, you can bite me.
He did say that.
Chris thought Sidewinder was AA.
No, Sidewinder.
I never even noticed it till just now. I looked down in the corner. It said, because I changed my view. All I could see was the little tiny pictures up top, right? I changed gallery view and it says Sidewinder FPV. I'm like, duh.
I don't know, man. AA is shy. I've been trying to get him to come on the show for a little while now, you know.
Okay.
I think he's been on once.
Well, my bad, Sidewinder. I was thinking you were AA. I was looking at the little picture and didn't see the name, but now I see the name. So, not that AA is a bad person to confuse you for.
Oh, it's Aaron Alberts. Yeah.
I like these videos.
And that's the one that flew away. Huh?
What board do you recommend for the toothpick?
That's some experimental.
All right, Ed, figure it out.
I would say either the HGLRC or the Happy Model F4 Pro V2.
All right. Yeah, I just about got everything to build one except for the flight controller and a frame. I got motors and an all-in-one camera and CPA.
Yeah, I'm going to highly recommend you don't use that piece of shit all-in-one camera that goes to, what, 25, 50 milliwatts? You're going to want at least 200. You're going to want at least 200. For sure.
Wait. Mine has the little AIO camera. You hurt my feelings here.
Good. Maybe your feelings need to be hurt.
Hey, easy there, gentlemen. Easy.
He's packing that sand in that vagina. Damn.
Come on now.
Yeah, my toothpick, when I first did mine, I had the Mobula 7. I'm sure you heard of that, the Mobula 7 Whoop. So I just ripped the board and camera out of it. And then I had 1103 Ghoul RC motors. Well, I got in high grass one day and tried to turtle mode with them, and them little motors do not like turning backwards the way we can turn our bigger motors. So it kind of messed something up on the motor on the inside, I think. So now I rebuilt mine with the Beta 75X. So basically, I just take the whoops apart and use the boards. I don't know if you have that option.
Yeah, I got a Snapper 6. I got a Snapper 6, but one of the motors won't spin. I think the flight controller, one of the ESCs is burning it.
I got you.
But those two that I said are, I'm going off of, I ride kebab sticks, so those are the two most reliable ones. And none of them are really that reliable. I mean, really, they're 12 amp ESCs.
Yeah, I keep up with kebab videos.
And I'm running it, and my average max amps is 65 amps. So I'm going over its specification every pack I fly.
You're just flying 2S, so.
Have you tried 1S on yours yet, Chuck?
I don't have any, no.
I'd like to try 1S on mine once I get it up and running, because I saw a Kebab do that 1S video, dude, and he was just flying forever with that 1S. I mean, he was killing it. Full power throughout the whole battery. I was real impressed.
You're gonna want to use different higher kV motors for that, though.
I got 11,000, so I should be good, right?
Josh, do you remember what it was? Were they like closer to 13? You got cum on your lips.
Yeah, I left this. Dang it!
What happened? Come on now.
I don't know without looking. I know they were on the higher end. I want to say 12 to 13,000 kV.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, like 12.5 or something.
But see, with those builds, the extra kV goes a lot further than it does on our 5 inches, and it really gives you more power.
Yeah, that thing, dude, it hauls ass.
That's everyone that builds the toothpicks out of the Beta 75X with those 11,000 kV motors. They said the thing is nothing but a pure beast. Now, I tuned mine earlier, turned it down. I like the slower. I'm the slower guy. Like, I don't like the crazy rates, go out, flip the stick, do 30,000 rolls. I'm a slower guy. I'm like, hey, yeah, used to ride the little bus.
Josh sees me. He's lying. Where is he? He's lying.
Who is?
Chris, you are not a slow, smoother flyer, bro. Yes, you can fly smooth, but you're not a slow flyer, bro.
Man, I consider around 4 something on velocity, like 480. That's slow. Ask Josh. He said, "Holy slow sticks" when he flew my car.
He's talking about his rates.
Okay.
Look, we went to this park, and he's like, "Hey, bro, do you mind taking a look at my 6S? Because man, it's got oscillations. Like you can hear it fluttering, right?" So first of all, I'm gonna tell this fucking story because this guy comes, asks me for help. He's like, "Here, let me fly it for you and listen."
Why don't we?
Listen, he armed that thing. It never left the ground, and I was like,
My goodness.
But he didn't hear me, so he takes off, starts flying. I was like, bring it back, park it. I'm like, I already know what's wrong. This thing was sitting on the sidewalk going, like it just didn't know what to do with itself. But anyway, so I'm like, hey, just give it to me. Like, let me fly it for a second. Let me make some adjustments. And then, and so he parks it. I get into his OSD, make a few adjustments, and I arm it and take off. I take it up in the air, and I'm like, holy shit, these rates are low.
Damn.
And not so much in the middle, but at the stick ends, because in the middle he's flying pretty much center rates like I am, so I was right at home. And then I was like, okay, let me do a snap flip. The hell was that?
Ryan.
The fuck you doing, Ryan? Anyway.
I'm not doing anything, Josh. What are you doing? I just said, what?
In order to test the P's and the D's to make sure he didn't have excessive bounce, I'm like, okay, let me do a snap roll. I threw the stick all the way to the end, and his drone was like, I was like, whoa.
That ain't right. Come on now.
But I do that.
He flies fast, but he likes smooth, really controllable rates.
Right. And I like so I did that because think of that park where we fly. You see that big tree right near it. So I can come over that tree, do a juicy roll, and come straight down and go right through the sliding board hole, you know? So, and I did it one day. I was like, just went for it. I was like, right through the sliding board. I was like, no way, I just made that. Because that's a pretty good shot. And that basketball, I'm gonna hit that basketball hoop from over here in these woods. I'm so close to it, like coming in the woods and just going backwards and going down it. I bumped off the door last time, so I was a little below the rim last time. I'm gonna hit it, and when I blindly hit it, it's probably gonna break something, rip an arm or something off. But I want that footage of that quad coming through the trees and just going right through the basketball hoop. I think that'll be the perfect shot.
Call it the Air Jordan.
Call it the Air Jordan. There you go. Right?
Yeah.
Last time he was talking about trying it, he's like, I almost got it. I came through, I did this, and then I was teabagging the car door. Which, for anybody who doesn't know the spot, like, automatically you would be completely fucking confused at whatever the hell's going on. But he's got that cool little spot, and somebody's got a car door, like, hanging on the side of a tree that has a gap in it about this big that he's insistent he's going to get his drone through.
No, it's a.
And it also has a basketball hoop.
It is a basketball hoop. There is a hoop, and it's just to come through. So I don't come through and try to line it up and look out my goggles with it. I just come through and I throw the drone, I twist it off, and I just try to dunk it in. And dude, I was so close that day when I bunked that door. Chuck actually bunked the door, didn't you, when you were down, Chuck?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, Chuck bunked it.
I actually went through the window too, but that wasn't really on purpose.
It counts. Nobody can take that from you.
Yeah, those are always the best ones.
Hey guys.
You
Hey,
hit a
Crystal.
gap.
Look at Josh.
What the hell was that?
Do it again, Ryan.
Do what again? This? Just something I made. I just like that. Right. Yeah, to do that. Yeah.
All right, this is quickly going downhill.
Oh.
So, MD.
Yep.
Got any more ideas for the chop shop? Because I'm not going to lie, brother, I really enjoyed that episode.
Yeah.
Actually, yes, I can do something on the chop shop. I have 2 3-inch Jabalars that I'm going to be building, and I'll have everything here Saturday, it looks like. I got Rotorite coming in, RDQ, and Pyro Flip. So I could do it. I could do, let's say, a live Monday, do the chop shop. Put one of the Jabalars together.
Here's the deal, man. Even if you're not going to do a build, I still think you should regularly do the chop shop. It is just your platform. But I love all the hardware and shit that you come in contact with. I mean, you could probably talk for days about all the stuff that you touch just in a week.
I could. I definitely could. But yeah, so we'll do something Monday. You down, Chuck?
Sounds good to me.
Sweet.
So, are you interested in doing a giveaway during the chop shop?
Uh,
I think I'm just saying.
What are you saying, Josh? What are you saying?
That I think your show has really good viewership, and we should do some sort of little giveaway for your users while I make a job of the HUMP face.
what we gonna give away?
A toothpick.
Well, so I've got a box full of little things at home between props and some other cool things. I can send you a list,
I'll take some
and that way
props.
you can do it for anybody in chat. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right. We'll get the details ironed out then a little later, just you and I, or I say you and I, us in our private chat.
Right. Sounds good.
Keep in mind, we do have a giveaway budget still. Just saying.
He's right, you know.
What do
It's a chameleon. Look, see, it's a chameleon.
30, 60. We spent about $90 out of.
It's a
So we got
chameleon.
about we have a little over 100 left, I'd say. After
Already,
shipping and everything from our last stuff.
So is Back from the Sky still in there? Because that's who I'm gonna be building them Jabalars for. So that will be cool to have him in on Monday.
Back from the sky. You heard it. You're getting called out.
Carlos. Yep, he's here. Look. Okay.
You gonna come stream
Hey,
with us?
Carlos!
So we'll
Come stream with us on Monday, bro.
Yep, Monday we'll be on here, and we will be building
Area 37.
one, if not both, of the Jabalars.
Depends how much talking Chris does as to how much gets done. It's the truth.
I will, because that's pretty much, like I said, I'm using the Mamba 20x20, so there ain't much there. You cut a couple solder joints, pretty much put the frame together, and it'll be a nice little video, nice little chop shop, I think.
Hey, yeah, micros are hot right now, so it's sort of a micro.
Yes, they are. I went out today with my Japalar, and let me tell you something that was scary, guys. If I would have been this much lower, I would have smacked myself right in the forehead. What I did, I like to stand over by the edge of the field that Chuck gives me so much shit for. He's like, why do you stand all the way out over here? There's a reasoning for that, Chuck. So I come over the little island of the trees that are there. I spun backwards, and when I spun backwards, I went woof, and I went right over top of my head. I felt the quad go across my hair like this. I was like, holy shit.
Don't need a haircut this week.
Woo! Man, you're talking that much lower, and we've been right in the forehead with this thing right here.
Hey, what is Back from the Sky's name? Because I really hate calling him that long-ass name.
Carlos.
It was this. We'll figure it out and let you know, man. It'll probably be later in the evening. You know,
text you for sure. But
9%, 8 or 9 Eastern.
So imagine this, right? Going like this. No shit. It brushed my hair. I even told Crystal, I said, whoa. She said, what? And because I'm pretty good on the stick, so when I felt it like this, I instantly throttled up because, man, that was just too close. And I watched the DVR, and you can see the quad going
this on his head.
Quad like this, and look at the back of my head. It's like, whoa, that was so close. So I would never stand there again because that was a little too close for comfort with me. You guys know I like to be on the edge of that, but that was too close to the edge. I couldn't imagine that.
Oh, too close to.
Dude, that would hurt.
I'm about
bam. It'd be like, ouch, man.
That would really hurt. I would feel like an idiot to smack myself in the forehead.
Oh my God, that would hurt bad, man. Those quads coming out with the props and everything, it's like whack.
Because I would have really enjoyed watching you cut your forehead wide open with a flying
I knew you would
drone.
have. And Crystal had the GoPro 5 in her hand, so look, no, she'd have been like, Dook!
Jesus.
That's like, did you guys ever see, there was this old video of a little kid who was like holding on to a box fan. The kid was barely able to look over, and the box fan fell over and fell on top of the kid, and the parent just stood there and took video the whole time while the kid's screaming. It would have been like that. Hey.
Look at Josh.
She caught a picture of a lunar moth.
That is really cool. Was it really big too? Because some of those lunar moths get big.
This one, I say she because she's probably laying eggs. So she's like this, that wide, and point to end of tail. She's like this.
So like 16 inches.
Good grief! I could chase that with a quad.
No, you're not chasing that with a quad.
What the hell?
Bro,
what the hell was
by
that?
the way, you owe me some footy in a private channel. Actually, you owe all of us some footy. And we're just going to leave that right there.
Whoa! If you guys don't know, I am the bird man. I will chase a bird. I will chase a seagull, a chicken hawk. I will not put them in jeopardy, but they cannot shake me. And Josh witnessed this weekend. I was like Top Gun on his ass, Jack.
Because I'm a chicken hawk hunting for a chicken. Get paranoid when you hear my Glock clicking.
Now, look, we don't mess with the chicken hawks. We would never do that because they're a protected species. But seagulls are the overpopulated rats of the earth.
See, now put the hat on him, and then put a little picture, and that's why I thought Sidewinder was AA.
There's only one AA.
No,
That's right. That's right. What's up, big dog?
Wouldn't that make him a single
guys?
A?
He says there's a single A.
Single A.
Well, there's Mrs. AA.
Oh, well, she outranks AA for sure.
That's right.
Well, all right. Hey, we've got you on the show, man, and you're going to have to tell us all the goodness from IO.
For one, you guys missed out. You missed out on a whole bunch. There was all kinds of pilots from all around the world. Most of the Rotorite guys showed up, OG Rotorite guys. Hot Dog ended up showing up there when he said he wasn't going to be there. Me on High, I think that's how she pronounces it. She was there. Night Fury was there, and his wife. Johnny FPV was there. Neon.
Wait.
I like Neon. He's a pretty cool kid. And yeah, I mean, 9 tracks. After 7 o'clock or so, everybody would just hang out at the Tiny Whoop tent and just hang out with each other, fly Tiny Whoops, party, all kinds of stuff. It was really cool.
Now, for you guys that don't know, AA, he goes to all the big racing events. Well, basically, he goes to IO every year, and he is a volunteer, and he, on top of holding down a job, so he's driving back and forth from IO to down by Indianapolis, like every other day. And he's the one who sets up the gates. He's the one who, helps set up the event. So,
yeah, that'd be a cool job, man, for sure.
Yeah, I work with MultiGP. It takes the whole team. When they have the volunteers come in, those guys are just dedicated to putting on a great event for you guys. So we're all gung ho about getting gates put together and set up, tracks all strung down so that the wind doesn't blow them down. Yeah.
Awesome.
So most people that I've talked to that hadn't gone to IO always tell me the same thing, but they're not racers. That's why they don't go to IO. IO is more than just racing. It'll actually, this year was perfect because they had a rookie track, which they have in the past years, but the rookie track this year was set up into a kidney-shaped oval. It was perfect for beginners. And if you were going too fast on that track, they just sent you to another track, the intermediate track, which kind of pushes you to fly better. And if you didn't want to go through just gates, you could go to the freestyle track. Most of the freestylers, the big famous pilots like Bot Grinder and stuff like that, Cricket, Vortex, Ladrib, Tommy, all those guys were there. Kevin, Stinger Swarm, they just all went out. They left the AMA headquarters and went out to places to freestyle. So if you're a freestyle pilot, you're really not missing out on anything. And if you want to fly packs, you can fly 100 packs in a day, no problem, and still have time to have fun with everybody around you. That's the big thing about IO is actually meeting up with pilots all from around the world. It's freestyle and racing.
That's cool.
And all from micro to X class.
Yeah, and every time he goes, he seems to just bring home a whole bunch of booty. He's a married man. Don't think I'm talking dirty. He wins shit every time he goes there. Like there's all kinds of raffles and giveaways.
Right. Chuck is right. I won in the raffle. I actually won a Tiny Whoop Nano, but the swag bag that I got for working IO actually was over $600 worth of product.
Damn.
It's not just junk stuff that you're going to throw away. I did get a lot of props, and people get a lot of props, but got a stack in a quad frame and a camera, antennas, just on and on and on. And that's not why I volunteer, but that's a good reason for somebody that doesn't want to race to actually come out to the event and still participate, get backstage kind of stuff, and still have fun. And you can get in free that way too.
Yeah, and I give props to Aaron too. Not the kind you put on a quad, because the people that are really into the hobby, I know, knee slapper. The people that are really, really into the hobby are always looking for a way to give back to the community. And I think that is just a ridiculously awesome way of being able to give back. But
are you just saying that because you mail all your stuff to Aaron's house?
Maybe.
Actually, I'm glad to hear Chuck say that, because really, freestyle pilots are, if you're not going to I.O., man, you're missing out on the best FPV event every year. Seriously. I mean, Noobcrew, not discounting that was great. I'm sure that was a great time for you guys. Rampage was awesome. You can't discount that event either. But when it comes to I.O., it's like 10 times more than what you've seen at any other event.
We have to get the noobs to go to I.O. one year.
Right.
We'll see.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Josh. You're going to say what I was about to say.
I was going to say what we need to do is have Noobapalooza during the event, rather than trying to figure out how to get people to leave home more than once and spend money. We just group the events together. We get to hang out and participate.
That would be great.
Do you guys have any racers in the Noobtube crew?
We have some people. I mean, I like to participate. In fact, I had a personal goal this year of being active in my local race community, and it just fell through really quick. We just ended up with a lot of stuff going on the weekends, which is when our racers get together. And because I travel for work, I can't do it during the week. And so before I knew it, I was 3 races behind. There was no way I was going to be able to catch up in the points. So maybe next year we'll see how everything goes. Family comes first, But, Chris actually has some racing chops. His son Russ has some racing chops. I know if I spend more time, I'd be able to run the track no problem. My passion is always going to be freestyle, but I have nothing against running around a track. And anybody who just stops and won't even try, I don't even understand.
No, because I thought the same thing when I first met up with Josh. He's like, yeah, well, I go up to the track and all that. And I was like, well, I'm kind of not into that kind of thing. He's like, nope. He's like, trust me, come up there and then see how it goes. So what I kind of thought was you had to start right out the gate. You had to just run your quad balls to the wall. And it's not that. Where we go, it's more like they do fun flies, and then they'll have races thrown in with that. And basically, slow is the key. Going around the track to get to the gates is what I learned. But I've learned to progress faster now, lower to the ground, so I can get through the gates pretty quick. My main goal is I can always not remember the course. I always get off course. But if it's like an easier course, not like a pro setup, I could go out there and run the gates pretty good. And my son right there, he's just as good with it.
The reason why I asked that question is because then you guys could, as a team, could send a pilot to race, and you could all just be there and just be the fanboys of your racer, and that's kind of what Rotor Riot did this year. I would hope that it was from my message, but probably not. Somebody else probably asked them, but I thought it was a good idea that they came and participated and rooted on Captain Vanover, and most of them came. It was pretty cool to hang out.
I love you, Chris, but I nominate Russ, no questions.
Hey, me too. I want to be in the fanboy section. I don't want everybody looking at me.
For a little bit more clarity, the multi-GP chapter where we are is really minor, and they're having a hard time even getting to be above a tier 1 or tier 2. And they're all old men, and they race really slow, which is why I thought I could do really well.
But then Tito was there.
They have a 40 and over race at I.O. also.
Oh, I fit into that one.
Uh-oh.
No, but I honestly, I would love to do that. If somebody, even though, you know, at times I've pushed for certain months, it was only for personal reasons because of things I know I had going on at home. I would have zero arguments about attending a Flight Fest or an I.O. and lumping that with Noobapalooza and doing everything we can to get some of our guys there. Mind you, we have some noobs in Fort Worth, Texas, and there's a huge race scene down there. And these guys are hardcore racers. I have no doubt they could compete.
Yeah, and I forget what tier they are, but they're up there. They're like, what's the lowest is 1, right? I think they're tier 3.
Yeah, but Tito, what tier would you think Tito's on? Tito is, well, that's I guess the whole course, but Tito kind of makes up for the old man.
So Tito's good, but Tito doesn't do well under pressure.
I noticed that, yes.
I say that in Atlantic City, Tito took 3rd place in the wing races, and that was a national championship.
Right.
Yeah, that's one other side thing that they do at I.O. is wings. It didn't have much
quick, guys.
people.
I got to interrupt real quick. I'm sorry. Hey, June Loco, you could fuck off, bro.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I hit his message. He come in and said, "Yeah, if I live with my mom, I could afford a drone wall too." Well, unfortunately, buddy, that's my wife back here, not my mother. So
I don't think I look that old yet.
Here's something for you anyway. Thank you, Chuck.
Yeah, we don't put up with that
shit down, and we're done with it. If somebody wants to be an asshat, they can be an asshat alone.
We don't put up with any of that shit here.
I shut him down and hit him from the channel.
Be cool to each other.
Anyway.
Peace and love. That's what Joe Scully says. Peace and love.
Exactly. Yeah, with a hammer.
No, that's Chris.
I
know. Chris
Thomas. You'll be interested to know, you know, we finally got Chuck to put some laps down around the track. Chuck did really good.
Yes.
Really good. Better than he wanted to let on, or probably better than he thought he would. And it's just because the way Chuck flies, he attacks everything, which is a virtue through and through with racing. It's not, man, I hope I line up for the hole. It's, motherfucker, I'm hitting that hole.
I'm going through it. I'm already going through it. Yeah.
I actually was a little bit surprised that I did as well, especially considering that I was using a 6-inch quad. A gigantic, heavy beast.
Here's the thing: if you get yourself to a point where you're going through gates, they always run the FAI race. Now, don't ask me what that means, but basically, you know, they're collecting pilots from the United States, and they're going to race them over in China. So I'm pretty sure that's like an all-paid trip, and if you can figure out, they ran it on the World Cup, but it wasn't the World Cup track, I don't think. But basically, they ran that, and there wasn't 24 people down there during that race. So your chances of actually qualifying for that is really great.
Yeah, don't they use like 12-foot gates?
They're 5x5.
Oh man,
they're pretty big gates. 5x5 gates are.
They are, and you know, but when you're on that quad, you got that camera angle up, and that 5x5 seems very small at times.
Yes, it does.
Which I think that was me in the beginning, thinking go really fast. You got to get out in front of all these guys. That's not going to happen, man. The Tito guy we're talking about, so when you go in a gate, you kind of got to circle back around. This guy just goes in the gate and right back out the other one. He does not play nothing to do on the other side of that gate. In the gate, back out the other gate that quick. And I'm doing like a flip and roll coming back through the other gate. He's like, the freestyler, man. He goes, you have to lose that. He goes, your time lapse here. He's like, you're counting, you know, for your time. You don't have to want to do all that. So I kind of made sense of that, and I was like, you know what, you're right. So then I started trying to do that, and it kind of does work better for you instead of wanting to do a flip or roll. split ass back down into the gate. It's like, no.
Yeah, the quicker you can start to look at the gates ahead of you, the better you're going to get. You know, you don't look at the gates, you look through them.
Yes. Josh told me that, and I took right off with that.
I tell you what gave me the most trouble was that little dive gate.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to tell you something, though. That dive gate, you would never find one that small at an actual race. Those dive gates typically are 8x8 cubes, not 5x5, and that was more like a 4x4.
Yeah, it was really, really small.
And not only that, but they're like usually 20 feet in the air. Usually.
Yeah, and when he said, too, you could go straight through it instead, but I was like, fuck that. I'm going to dive through and come out the first square, like he said.
I did it once.
I did it once with the Chameleon 6-inch, and yes, ended up on the ground. Look at Ryan. He is jumping all over the place over there. He's had some Mountain Dew.
No, I don't drink Mountain Dew.
I'm talking it all up about I.O., but actually, when it comes to events, if any one of you want to go to an event like that and you just don't really have the cash, go volunteer. It's worth it. It's worth it. You know, I volunteered at Rampage. It helped a little bit at Flight Fest. Actually, I'd like to get in there and work with them next year. But yeah, it's worth it. You'd love it. You get so much out of it.
I am really glad you brought that up. I'm going to leave it on this, and I won't say any more about it tonight anyway. If you guys think about it and sleep on it and decide that next year you would like to couple Noobapalooza with an event, I won't even think twice. I'm totally down with it.
Well, dude, all we do is change the dates by like a week, and, you know, we can do our own thing for a few days, and we can go to I.O. for a few days. It's like a week-long event, so it's not like you have to be there all week.
I was going to say, we were trying to pretty much plan our week out, you know, on Noob 3, so that would probably work out even better to have something like that planned, like an event like that to go to. That would be cool.
Just a heads up, I think it's the end of August, next year's I.O.
It's going to be hot.
Actually, it seemed to be a little cooler then. The first 2 years was in August.
That gives me a little bit longer to talk myself to get on the plane then.
Right. And there's camping, and there's the hotels there.
I got my camping right here.
Right.
I'm going to be the only guy to show up in a semi.
Hey,
I call
that's fine.
Bunk.
Push.
They got a great big old parking lot for you.
Right?
Squish gonna have that rig too, Chuck.
Oh, yeah? Well, if things go the way I want them to, it'll be my own rig next year.
Oh. But let me get your Swift and I'll just drive that over.
Yeah, let me just give you my, $90,000 company truck.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. I'll get it all there in one piece.
Yeah, that's only a Class A felony.
Hey, I seen a Swift driver over my way last week missing his whole front bumper. I didn't even want to know the story.
Rain, you just blasted off, man. Did you see that?
What?
He just blasted off.
Yeah, he just went.
Did I really? I went like this. Woo!
That was hilarious. I was just watching, and that's exactly what I thought too. Is that motherfucker just blasted off like a rocket?
Superman!
He's got no legs!
I'm gonna buy him a shirt that says Penetrator to match his rocket.
And this guy said he can't do editing. He can't edit no videos. I'm like, okay.
I can't.
Hey, we gotta get him hooked up with the simple free editor, man.
Yeah, not the one you tried to get me on, because that thing still haunts my computer.
Yeah, well, that's because you don't. I don't know. User error.
Did anybody see Ryan's video today of him driving that heavy equipment? I was so jealous when he was in there.
When?
I missed it.
It worked.
today you posted a video, you sitting in a truck, and you were getting all kinds of Jello, and you were like, yeah, this badass motherfucker, check this out, woo! And then you were like, where's all this Jello coming from?
I don't think so.
Yes, even your mom commented and said you were being silly. Get back to work.
Oh,
I never saw it, Crystal. I never saw it. I don't know. I must have hit the Facebook Live the Facebook live stream by accident. I was like, whoops.
That's scary.
Yeah, that is scary. That's very scary.
Yeah, don't Facebook Live at work.
I missed him for about 5 minutes. Just by about 5 minutes. I've hung out with him before when he's went live working.
Yeah. Yeah, I do that. I do that on Facebook now.
Right.
Yeah, but not on YouTube because YouTube won't even let me because I don't have 1,000 subscribers.
I called them and told them you were a troublemaker, so they flagged your account.
The FAA.
Yep.
Yeah, you did something there, Ryan.
YouTube's in cahoots with the FAA.
What
and on
did
that
I do?
note,
what did I do?
You gotta write a letter to YouTube.
You were born.
No.
Really?
No, don't listen to them, Ryan. You know better.
Yeah, I know.
People that fly angle mode, they don't let them live stream from their cell phone. So where you're flying acro now, they'll go ahead and transition you over in a little bit.
Yeah,
oh my
right. Uh-oh.
I don't know. I can't find it. I don't care anymore.
Oh, you mean these people right here?
Jeez, everything. Jesus.
That's it. We're shutting this thing down. See you guys next week or in 2 weeks.
You guys are in trouble now. That's the Federal Aviation Administration right here behind me.
Hey-o.
Hey-o.
Hey, can I get
Shots fired
off on the 107s for me?
Sure. Right here. Right
on
there.
that note, in all seriousness, I think we're going to shut this thing down. Really glad you guys could make it. Some of you guys got to get on a little earlier.
You have to.
Hey-o, shots fired.
Fucking Ryan.
I hear you. Some nights I swing a little earlier. Some nights I swing a little later. Y'all just got to deal with it.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Go with the flow.
I know you love it.
Hey,
Yep.
all I gotta say is, what day is it?
Hump day!
Bitches.
All right. You guys have a great week. Remember that Monday, Chris is going to have another Chop Shop. Everybody needs to start harassing Chuck on Facebook Messenger to get his next Noobcrew out. Keep your eyes peeled. I'm aiming for the next week to have the last Noobapalooza video out. So, and I hope that you guys have been enjoying those as much as we enjoyed collecting it all. Thanks, Sidewinder, Ryan, AA, for all being here, and Chris back and Crystal back and Chris up because you know he needs his black up.
His black up.
And giveaway on Monday.
Tonight.
And yes, Chris is going to have his first Chop Shop giveaway on Monday. So definitely make sure you tune in for that. You got to be there to qualify.
And y'all know we all got channels, so whatever.
Like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that shit for the 2 people that are left. And have a great week, everybody.
Keep in touch, Aaron.